Hello, and welcome to my presentation. Um, my name is Jordan Thomas. I am finishing up a degree in cybersecurity, and I work in Nashville in assets protection for Target. So I was familiar with a local food bank that the store I work at donated to weekly, and I decided to ask the driver that picked up at our store if they needed any volunteers because I was looking for someone to volunteer. And it turned out the food bank um, only operates because they have volunteers. So the first time I went there, I was super impressed at how professional everybody was and how organized. Um, and then they kind of told us about their mission and what they do, and I was really impressed at the impact they have on the community. So last year, just in Middle Tennessee here, this particular food bank um, served 35 million meals, and 96 cents of every dollar that they take in goes directly to their food programs. And I volunteered mostly in the the cold food sorting areas, like frozen food and cold food. But there's other opportunities. They needed drivers, they needed people to deliver meals. Um, I just chose to do the sorting because it was nice and cold in the coolers. So the first course objective um, that my event relates to would be analyzing the benefits for and governance of changes in modern society relative to race and gender equality. So first, I figured I'd get firsthand experiences with the challenges that people face when it comes to accessing food. Um, I don't really know a lot about food insecurity, and I kind of wanted to learn what kind of people the food bank helps. Ended up being all kinds of people, immigrants, elderly, just people down their luck, people that grew up poor, just everybody, like a huge amount of people, that we gave out 30 or they gave out 35 million meals. So obviously there's a lot of people. Um, so it would give me some firsthand experience with that, which I was interested in, and then I'll be able to connect with people that aren't like me because typically, I would do volunteer events, but it would be like with work, and it'd be more of a social outing where we just bond. And I mean, we would work, but I wanted to get to know people that I wouldn't normally interact with. And then lastly, I can build relationships with people that are out there trying to make a difference. Many of the employees at Second Harvest know local government leaders, and they meet with them to discuss hunger, what we can do to solve hunger, find the root causes, and see is it inequity or injustice, and why do some of these people not have access to food. At the start, I hoped I could become more proactive in helping my community instead of waiting for some disaster to spark the community at large into action. Because we see that a lot. Like where I live, we get tornadoes pretty often, and people are always so amazed and impressed. Everybody's coming out to help clean up. But uh, I think in active citizenry, more people would be out there doing that stuff before disaster strikes. So um, And then the second objective would be to learn about the relationship between being an engaged citizen and the functioning of a Republican form of governance. Um, so I kind of alluded to earlier that a lot of the people that work at Second Harvest food banks are in touch with local governments. Um, and so I wanted to be able to leverage those connections and just see how it all fit together. Um, we had a reading called I Pencil from Leonard Reed this semester, and he gave a good analogy on like even something that seems very simple, like a pencil, it can be connected to so much more. And I feel like the government and a lot of um, organizations are the same way. Um, so like in our public form of government, they're supposed to represent the will of the people, but this can really be difficult to do if people aren't engaged in the political process. And volunteering can help me understand these challenges that the government officials that want to do right by the people that they face, and then the people that are frustrated with government, what kind of things are they facing, what kind of struggles. I got to see a little bit of that firsthand, but it it was kind of outside the scope of what I actually did when I was volunteering, to be honest. Um, so basically, when I was actually volunteering, like I said, I worked in the food sorting section. We would look at the food, look for mold. Other signs would be inedible, maybe something super past expiration date. But if it still looked good, we would usually still keep it. And then we'd sort pallets of the donated food into different categories. Like we put all the shrimp on a pallet, all the vegetables on another pallet, and wrap them up so they could be prepared for meals by other volunteers later on. Most of my shifts there were between 2 and 3 hours, and we would sort anywhere from 10 to 15,000 pounds of food. Sometimes we get done early, so it'd be a little bit less, but um, it was impressive because it was 45 million pounds of food, I believe, per year that they sort and get out. Um, and I met some interesting people there. There was all kinds of people there volunteering. Um, there was people that are, forced to do community service by courts. There was students like me. There was people that just kind of like volunteering, and then there's some people that had actually been affected by food inequity and they wanted to give back to community, and this is a great way to do it. So I think because of the service project, I'm now prepared to be a better, more engaged citizen. I think my newfound kind of passion in making a difference, and now I have more understanding of the complexities in our society and how they were all put together will help me, recruit people that I know to help make America a stronger nation. Being engaged means more than what I initially thought. When I first started, I thought it was going to be just I need to vote, I need to understand how government works, and that was pretty much it. I didn't really realize that I was kind of part of the problem because I keep to myself mostly. I don't go out. I don't. Um, I just pretty much keep to myself. If it's not my problem, then it's not my problem. Is how I acted. And it's kind of like what Robert Putnam described as um, being a problem in the U.S. that nobody does anything together anymore. So there's no investment in our community. We don't care about our communities as much, and um, I was really a self-centric person. I was, if someone immediately asked me for help, I'd help, but I would not go out of my way to help them. I was kind of radically individual. I was very close viewed. My worldview was me and the people I knew. But I think now I'd look at it as being more of a global citizen. So I know that just because things are one way for me doesn't mean they're the same way for someone else. And coming at problems with that point of view, more likely to get more traction when trying to talk to people. And so I really think this was a good experience. Um, Initially, I didn't think I would really get much out of volunteering just because I volunteered in the past, and I feel good, I enjoy it, but I never really got anything more than like a selfish, I feel good, I did that. So I understand now that it's really required in a society like ours that people do this stuff. So um, last slide, just a couple of linked or citations for things I mentioned in the presentation. If you got any questions, you can ask them in my discussion thread. So see you.